Greetings, salutations, and bienvenue. My name is Joe Bichetto, and this is your update video for Memory Cards version 1.1. We'll call it the patch notes. In the beginning, I said patience, would be appreciated. I'm kind of, riding the train and laying the track at the same time. And so there's going to be a few tweaks to Memory Card that I think are going to be better. I think it's going to make for better content, and I think it's going to more align with what I want to be doing with the channel as it aligns to my bigger goals. So first, the Let's Plays are gone. The thing was, they just weren't fun to make. As you can all, anybody who saw, I guess, the Hellblade Let's Plays was, pun intended, hell. My computer just, the CPU is not powerful enough to run games of those caliber while having recording software going for me and screen capture software going. Even offloading it to the Elgato seemed to not work. So it just wasn't worth it, and especially because I didn't feel like it really aligned with what I wanted to be doing. I think it was taking up too much of my time, so I wasn't able to really do any features. I really only got out the E3 2018 post-mortem. So hopefully by getting rid of those, I'm going to have more time to do that. But of course, the whole idea of the Let's Plays were to have something every day. And so I'm happy to announce that the weekly news show is now becoming a daily news show. And that's going to be, tackling fewer stories, or maybe taking one and deep diving into it. But you're going to hear me talking about the news every day, Monday through Friday. I want to talk about the production values are going to vary. If I'm sitting at my desk, they'll have the nice news bar going across with the headlines. But there have been a lot of days, I don't think there's been a week since I started Memory Card that I was in my apartment every day that week. Like, I travel a lot to play Ultimate, to go home and visit my family, things like that, live a life. So I just want to kind of outline it. Like, maybe sometimes I'll be recording from my phone in my car. And in that case, there won't be a bar, but it's going to be the same type of content. It's going to be me talking about the news, giving my opinions, just what everybody wants to hear. And I think another big reason to get rid of the Let's Plays is that it just affected how I felt about the games. I gave Hellblade a very glowing review, but I had to overlook a lot of my own personal frustrations to do that. And it wasn't that hard because Hellblade is such a good game, but I don't know that I can pull that off necessarily with games that are maybe a little more middling. Maybe I'll be that much more critical of them because I had so much challenges on my end that is not reflective of the game or the experience that developers created, and I just don't think that's fair. So I'm just going to play games, and I'll review them. The reviews will be just like the Hellblade and Brothers reviews were. I'll have plenty of footage captured, and I'll talk over it. Maybe they'll be a little more clear and in-depth because they'll be less necessarily biased. Now, obviously, that means there should be some changes to Patreon because the $1 tier is strictly based off of the Let's Plays. And, the 3 and 5 kind of revolve around that as well. So here's what's happening. The $3 tier is going away. I would love to be able to kind of combine, like have the headline bar on the bottom and then the scrolling bar on the top. But because I can't guarantee that the headline bar will always be there, because I can't guarantee that I'll always actually be able to edit these videos, that's not a service I could continually provide. So I'm just going to can the $3. We'll just have the $1 and the $5. The $1 is going to give patrons early access to all of the non-freelance work, not including the new shows. The new shows will be posted. They will go live everywhere simultaneously, including publicly on Patreon. So if you are a patron, that will still appear in your feed. All of that, you're going to get pretty much like a content dump on Friday. of any reviews or features I was able to make that week. There will always be something, like I'm hoping, I would love for it to be one of each, but who knows. And then the work will then be rolled out the next week, starting on Monday. I say I have 3 things to share. Patrons will get those 3 videos on Friday, and then the next week, YouTube will get one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and one on Wednesday. $5, the $5 level will still get you access to polls, which will now include not only games I should play, which is primarily what that was under the Let's Play, but it will kind of dictate what I talk about in the news. If you want me to cover a story, you're going to have that power to suggest that, and, since you're obviously paying me money, I'm probably going to listen. Topics that I should deep dive into, things like that, you're going to have more say in the content that I discuss rather than make, I guess. I'm sorry if that differentiation doesn't make sense. And now one more big surprise is the podcast. Basically, it's happening. I know that that's kind of rolled into the Patreon goals that a podcast would happen when it goes full time, but now I think under this new system, I would have more time to be able to do it. It's still in the early stages of planning. I've reached out to another content creator who seems amicable, and we're working things out. So it's probably going to take a couple weeks for that to debut, but it's in the pipeline. So get hyped for that. I'm really excited for it. And that's going to roll well into Patreon as well. That will, hopefully, we're going to look at dates when we can record and things like that. But patrons at the $1 level or above will get it early in some fashion. And at the $5 level, maybe we'll have a segment where we take your questions or your topics or whatever. But there will be fan input with the podcast. And again, the $100 level will still be there, but I'm not, not holding my breath on that one. So thank you all so much. Any feedback about the changes would be greatly appreciated. I hope you all love it. First news video goes up today, and I'm super excited. But until then, peace out.